What up? What up? What up? Now joining the conversation. He's back again. We'll see what he's talking about this week. Let's go. Live from the Midwest is Coach Ro.
I was throwing up my to the music. I was throwing up my
Next time I want to see you crip walk.
Yeah, I was throwing up my I don't know who's watching it. Wait a minute. Hey everybody. That was Cess that said that. So any crips that I may have known, that was Cess. I will not do it.
You know what? It's such a trip, man. Not to really just be on that topic, but back in the day, it was like so respected. I feel you judging me. I feel you judging me with your eyes, sir. But yeah, I'm gonna have this.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
We'll start with water next week. Listen,
we have to. Our chemistry is too good. That's exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah. I hear you judging me.
We'll talk about that one day too.
We'll talk about that. Coke or Pepsi? It's not a conversation.
That's Michael Jackson. Okay, it was too
listen, let me see. Alexa, office light off. I should have did that.
Office doesn't support that.
Your office doesn't support that, sir?
My Alexa's listening, saying, "What do you want me to do?"
Yeah, tell her dismiss. Listen, back in the day, remember it was kind of like you didn't cross the line about that kind of stuff, right?
Exactly.
Now it's like entertainers crip walking.
Mm-hmm.
They crip walking in the park. I don't know. It's just,
now they're becoming members at 35, 40 years old.
It's almost like the honorary doctorate, you know.
Yeah, like I mean, hey, why not?
It's the new honorary doctorate.
Hey, you can get an honorary degree from Alabama State. Why can't you get an honorary degree being a four-corner hustler or
whatever it is you want to do? We are in the building today, sir. What's going on, man?
Good morning, Seth. Good morning. I was just sitting here catching up on some of the interviews, post-interviews. I'll save the one I was just looking at because you can tell by the smile on my face. I can't wait till we get to the topic. But I was watching some post-interviews of a very entertaining game that I thoroughly enjoyed yesterday evening. But yeah, so other than that, no, things is good. I was on the road for a minute for the things. Everybody, we do things outside of this platform. I was on the road a little bit. I may get into that at a future show, but I'm back, relaxed and ready to roll. So how you been?
I mean, listen, I am still an entrepreneur, right? And so I have been redefining income streams and building out this platform and making a commitment to monetizing my skill set. So
I fully support you in that, Cess. Like Cess is, you all are gonna learn more as we go. Cess is, people say they're hustlers in a good way. Cess is truly a positive hustler and an inspiration. You inspired me.
I appreciate that. You inspired me too, sir. Great. Got a great career going. You'll see me checking some stuff out. For some reason, I am getting some delay on your end. So look like you got that cleared out though. So we're gonna rock and roll.
Maybe it was Siri or Alexa.
Don't do that. There's no series. There's no series over here. We don't even cut that on my iPhone. This is an Amazon household. Listen, I talk about Jeff like he my uncle. He's like seriously. I call my sister like, you know what Jeff did now, and he ain't even in charge no more over there. That's how we talk about it. But that's how long I've been rocking with Amazon for sure. I think, the people pretty much know. They can tell who I rock with in the NBA. So for me, I'm always going to start there, right? Um, I'm always going to start there. Um, Interesting road trip. Um, it's always interesting when we come Midwest because somebody always doesn't play all of the games. I was glad to see Steph play in Detroit. We went 2-1. OKC was a good win to start the tourney. Pistons, uh, we'll take that. Um, Cleveland. I'm sorry, we went 2-2 because we lost to Cleveland, and then we lost last night to Denver. Um,
I never thought I'd do this, but I really think that the Cleveland game was tired legs. You all know I am not pro Golden State at all, but I am realistic and I do watch sports. Those were tired legs that game. They looked tired, and I really think they thought that their reserves and those trying to get more minutes could win that game, which they probably could because Cleveland doesn't really look real good right now. But
I don't. I won't go tired legs. I do feel like they have especially the younger guys, sometimes have an adjustment that first um, road trip out, making the adjustment from being on the West Coast to waking up, and having the ball on the East Coast and playing at. I think they played at like 7:30, which would have been like 4:30 their time. But no excuses. You get paid to play in the when the tip goes up. I have no time for that. We not missing no money on the check, so everybody got to earn their money. But I just feel like Steph is off to a phenomenal start, man. He's off to uh historic start. He's doing stuff over 35 that not even LeBron did. I think averaging 30 first 7 games out, um, 20 points at least the first 7 games. I think he's got over 43s, maybe 53s now. He's made at least I think 3 or 4 threes in every game. He's the only person. The only other person to do that is like him. So
Well,
I
okay.
think, and I think the game that I'm the measuring stick that I'm looking at the most is like what happened with Denver last night. To see that game go down to the wire with with my defensive specialist out of the game, so no Draymond and no Gary Payton the second.
Nope, Sess, nope. Here we go. You starting
Here
already.
we go.
We only a few minutes in.
We
No, no,
starting
no,
all
no,
right.
Sess.
I'm
We're
starting
not gonna
already.
do that because Denver had Jackson starting at point guard.
But listen, Jamal Murray is a walking bucket, is a walking 50, right? But as good as he is, and as good as and understand that I'm an old school kid, so when I see him on TV, I go Ricola, like really, it's like Nikola Jokic, no joke. You understand? He's the baddest man in the league for me right now. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, I have a problem with you saying measuring stick for that game last night. Neither
Yeah,
side
listen, let me
was
finish. Let me finish. Let me
okay.
finish. Let me
All
tell you
right,
why. Let me tell you why. Jamal
okay.
Murray is a walking 50 whenever he wants. He's a 50 piece when he wants. Ricola, no, Nikola Jokic, man, it's no answer for him. But the player who I think gives Golden State the most problems when we play Denver is Aaron Gordon, and I think he's not talked about enough, man. This dude's underrated.
Yeah.
I know you might not have liked him before he got to uh, to Denver. This a Bay Area kid, so I've had my eye on him for a while. But Aaron Gordon is the truth. That dude is a difference maker. He could play on any team that I have, and I wish that he was a Warrior. Uh, he gives us problems. KCP, I'm sure that the Pistons miss him. Um,
Uh, well,
you know,
Jackson too. Since we talk about former Pistons. But
I don't know about Jackson. What I know about KCP is I like the defense that he put on Steph. But I
he
think
did.
Steph's only going to get stronger as the season goes. I think Chris Paul, as much as I'm not sure that I like him as a Warrior yet, still, I like the way he fills the lane with the mid range when we can't get the ball to Steph and Clay for the threes. So Aaron Gordon, excuse me, is the player that I don't think we have an answer for. And
Yeah, I agree. And let me say this: I've always been an Aaron Gordon fan. What I respect the most about Aaron Gordon is people forget that Aaron Gordon was the alpha on the Orlando team. They built the team around him. They wanted him to be the franchise, and it didn't work out. He literally adjusted his game to go to Denver. He adjusted.
What's the guy they brought down to Orlando? He was going to be a superstar, and then he couldn't. He was too nervous. With folks,
are you talking about folks? When he forgot how to shoot free throws? Yeah.
You can't take that down there with the Aaron Gordon and think that you're going to do something.
Right.
I would have loved to see like an Aaron Gordon, Zach LaVine, kind of match up. Team up. But that kid's dynamic. His game's dynamic. He's unbelievable.
They didn't know what to do with his skills. Gordon he came out of Arizona. He was freakishly athletic. He was an above the rim. They were comparing him to Vince Carter. I remember that. That was his game, above the rim. All of a sudden, Aaron Gordon started doing post moves. Aaron Gordon started shooting three. Well, no, he started shooting threes, I think, in between his transition to Denver. He was not shooting as many threes in Orlando as he is in Denver. But they're opportunistic threes, not like first point. And I agree, Cess. In that championship run, he reminded me a lot of, don't get mad, Chris Bosh, where he kind of, you could tell he knows how to play the game, but he was like, look, whatever we need to win, if we need to get rebounds, if we need to play defense, if we need to get scrappy, I'm sacrificing scoring. I just want to win. I think that's how Gordon came in.
It's not Chris Bosh for me. It's not Chris Bosh for me. Do you know, and people may get mad, he reminds me of LeBron. He reminds me of LeBron. With the athleticism, the body type, it ain't too many people they size moving and making.
Says don't do that.
Come on,
don't do this.
Move it. Come on,
don't do this.
And then basketball IQ, like LeBron or not, and I'm not a LeBron fan. Basketball IQ is.
I only want you to mention LeBron and Gordon if they play each other, and if LeBron drops points on them, we cannot mention them in the same sense.
Why not?
Because there's absolutely no comparison at all. I mean, if they're the same height, I give you that.
What?
Yeah, no. Yeah.
The ability to just put his head down and go to the rack?
We're not.
That size? Why not? Tell me why not.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
LeBron is multifaceted in his game. He's really a point guard. I do not see that in Gordon at all. He's not a facilitator. Gordon is a finisher.
I said size.
Okay. I give you the size. I'm not. It depends.
You said yourself he went from the block to shooting the three.
I would say it depends on. See, I don't think that's really fair to Gordon, because when you're talking about his athleticism, when I think athleticism, I'm talking about how he still will, like, from the post dunk on you. Whereas LeBron is more, he's the triple threat. You don't know what he's going to do when he's down low. He can pass it. He can spin. He can do, the little fadeaway. He has more areas to his game. So maybe we're talking about two different things. You want to talk about?
I just think I'm talking in physicality, athleticism at that size, as far as being able to put his head down and just go to the rack or step back and shoot the three and making the right decision. Making the right decision as far as like.
I think you kind of
for his size.
I think you kind of summed it up because he's from California, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so okay, so So I mean,
And
the audience is getting to know you. So he's from California. He can do no wrong.
I didn't say you can't do
He's
any wrong.
he's
What I said
LeBron.
is,
He's comparable to
well,
LeBron.
I mean,
He may be a MVP candidate. He might make the All-Star game because he's a Cali kid.
I don't know that. I don't know that LeBron's he's not my GOAT. I'm not a LeBron fan in the sense that his style of play doesn't it's not inviting for me. It doesn't call me to the screen. Uh,
But you are
I
also a staunch, and let me tell the audience this: I had never seen anybody that was more of a Michael Jordan fan than Cess. You all don't understand.
I'm a super Michael Jordan fan,
You
but
all don't but you all don't understand. I don't know how Cess was able to study, get her stuff done as efficiently as she did. I'm going to go on record to say I may be able to count on one hand how many Chicago Bulls games that Cess missed in college. And I'm being serious right now. I don't care what time they were playing.
you don't miss greatness
I was trained to not contact Cess if the Bulls were on.
unless you can really talk sports.
Yeah,
And when
but
I say talk sports, like I've been known to tell people, hey, you don't watch enough basketball to talk basketball with me.
She
You don't
has.
watch enough. You
Yep,
don't watch enough.
Cess
So
has
let's
done
not do
that.
that. So a lot of times I'll see people in debates. I don't do a lot of the barbershop debates.
Mm-mm.
Um,
And you can start with
but
small questions, like when
but the other
people
thing is this: I don't do the LeBron and Michael Jordan GOAT debate anymore,
yeah,
right?
me
Because
either.
what I've decided is that um, number one, Michael Jordan doesn't get the credit he needs to get for what it is he actually did, which
I
was
agree.
lay the blueprint for how to be a superstar.
Mm-hmm.
This dude was a global superstar before people knew how to be one. Um, Magic probably had been the biggest star in the league up until then, and I don't know that he would have had a billboard up in Barcelona. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he taught you how to be a global superstar, how to be a mega superstar. You never saw him out of place. You know what I'm saying? Even except with the exception of the Ahmad Rashad interview after uh I think that was it the Atlantic City trip and everything when he wore the sunglasses. You got to go back and watch MJ with the sunglasses on in the interview. He's mad as fuck. I'm sorry, he's mad as hell. Right? He don't even take the he don't even take the glasses off. They talked about it, I think, too, in like Last Dance. But um, listen, uh, just greatness. He taught us how to. He almost like MC Hammer, like they were before their time. He
Yeah,
had
that's a good point. Yeah.
these endorsements and these money making opportunities before their time. What people don't understand about Michael is that, and what I love about him is that he's an Aquarius. And so one thing about us is if we don't know enough about it, we don't talk about it. We don't care if you think we should talk about it or not. So he didn't do the politics. Um, he handled his money. He handles his money how he wants to. But I feel like with the GOAT conversation, LeBron is who he is, and he's led his teams to some great feats. And I feel like his leadership style works for the teams that he was on, and Michael's leadership style works for the teams that he was on. And you see those guys in the Last Dance say, "Hey, we needed that. We needed somebody
Mm-hmm.
to come down on us to kind of check us when needed to get the best out of us." And LeBron's guys more need that arm around the shoulder. Hey, you can do this, man. Me and you one time, and
That's
it
a
works
great
for
point.
both of them.
No, but
It
that's a
works for
great
both
point.
of them,
That's a great
right?
point.
I don't know that
Mm-hmm.
if you switch them on any of the teams that they were on, that you get the same success because it's
No,
not the same type of
no,
leadership style
no.
as good as they are. So
Right. No, not at
that's
all. I
where
agree.
I'm not in that debate
Me either.
anymore. I
I
think
agree.
it's leadership style for me. So, but that doesn't take away from the great things that LeBron has tried to do off the court.
Hey, look, one thing I want to, ironically, I know we have to move on. Yesterday, of all people, I saw an interview. I didn't know that Bill Bellamy, for those that don't know, very famous comedian, late 80s, early 90s. Well, even into a little bit of the 2000s, he's still around. Bill Bellamy was very close to Michael Jordan, had no idea. He tells this story about how he contacted Michael Jordan. His friend didn't believe that he really knew him like that. So anyway, make a long story short, he talked about how they went to the game. He was talking about where they played the New Jersey Nets, the team with he brought up some old names. Kendall Gill, Sam Cassell, and all them were on the same team. He brought
I
up
thought you was about to say Kerry Kittles. Okay.
yeah, that team. So he flashed. He was telling the story. Our time on the forum and tell the whole story, but it was funny because he said at the end he said, look, Mike taught us that there's levels to being a superstar, and he said we were waiting at the players tunnel, like where the players come out. And I don't know, Seth, verify if this is true or not. I know you know all things Michael Jordan. I'm not being funny when I say that. He said that look, when the players come out, the players go this way, Michael Jordan will go this way for the post interviews. He also said they had a fake Michael Jordan that the other people would follow that went with the crowd this way.
I've heard that.
To allow Michael Jordan to go this way to do his post interview. I had never heard that before.
I've heard that there was a fake Michael Jordan.
Yeah, he said it was a fake Michael Jordan. I was like, what?
I don't know. I can't say that I've heard the other part of the story before, but I will say that for the way that I saw them sneak Dennis Rodman out of the stadium, out of the arena on the Last Dance, it's totally possible.
It makes sense though, because that is true. When I may have to go back and look, because now that I saw that interview or that story, says I remember like the backdrops to Jordan's interviews were often different from the other players, because I'm like, okay, well, where is he at with his interview?
Well, that's the thing you have to remember is,
yeah,
you don't. Michael probably did. He probably did interviews in his uniform on the court, right after the game. But you don't see post interviews like you see guys post interviews with they jersey still on sitting at the table. Never, always suited,
exactly.
Earrings. You're not gonna see him out of place, and that's again one of the things I talked about being how to be a superstar, and how to get it to the next level. So. Great talk. Impromptu, not what we were going to talk about today at all. But it'll be like that sometimes. We just it's a conversation for us. So again, if this is the type of content that you're interested in, go ahead and hit that subscribe button 2 times so that you get the notifications. Like, share, tell your friends. We're gonna be having all types of conversations. Really sports heavy, but
so you were talking about Steph. So I'm very impressed by this run. My question for you, the OKC game. For those that don't know, OKC is my secondary team, aside from the Detroit Pistons. I like OKC. It had flashes of an all-star game. The score was 141 to 139. So my question to you is, can the 15-year superstar Steph Curry keep up this pace?
Because did you watch the game?
I
did. You watch the game last night?
Yes, I did.
So you heard them say that after the game he runs like a Kenyan marathon runner, the most conditioned athlete in the league. Steph can keep it up as long as he stays healthy. He had the little. I've seen a couple games because I watched really closely. He fell, he shook the wrist. I've seen him do that twice already this year, so I know we probably got some little pain in the wrist, right? Because he fell on it twice. He rolled the ankle once, at least this year already.
That's where you get nervous. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I always get nervous there. And then yesterday he had the gimpy. They said it wasn't a knee, kind of lower leg, but he shakes it off. So I love that his strength and conditioning is allowing him to take more bumps and bruises. But that's more what I worry about with Steph more than anything. People, I was looking at Wiggins. at probably 3 minutes in at the free throw line, and I was like, shoot, Wiggs ain't even in shape yet. Wiggs is Steph's chewing on his mouthpiece, whistling, in the fourth quarter still. So
Mm-hmm.
the most conditioned athlete out there. So no, I don't worry about him being able to keep it up. And that, he gets that shot off when he wants to.
Okay.
Um, he keeps coming back bigger and stronger. So I like that. I'm more worried about everybody else being able to hold up.
I'm glad you said that
Yeah, I'm
because
more
I
worried
saw,
about
I saw a difference in your boy. You mentioned Wiggins. So against OKC, he chipped in 17, and that was a track meet. Against the Pistons, he had 4. This is one of my problems with Wiggins. You don't know which Wiggins is going to show up. I didn't really look last night at how much he ended up with in that game, but that kind of encompasses what you just mentioned. Everybody else in the OKC game, Saric, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. He had 20 points.
Dario.
20 points. I'm not a Saric fan. I'm not hating on him, audience. But if you're counting on him to hit 20 points a game, you're going to have a problem.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
No, you're not. No, you're not. And you
You
know
will.
why? You're not. You know why you're not gonna have a problem?
Don't say it.
Because Chris Paul is gonna get him. He's gonna get him. He's gonna get him. They've been playing together too long, bro. You know what chemistry is. You know what chemistry is. Come on, man. Don't do that.
Well, you mentioned the others, so since we're talking about that, that's just okay. So
Now, as long as because I feel like Chris Paul and Dario have a game that they run, right? That's different than when the other players are on the court. Right? Their pick and roll and stuff is a little bit different than the pick and roll that Steph and Dre run.
it
So
is.
it's hard to adjust to that for a team mid game. It's hard to make that adjustment. And I think that's kind of what's been our success so far. Is like, wait, I was here for the threes in the track, the threes in this dude running around and not even slowed it down. And this guy's now hitting the mid range jumper and finding Saric and teaching these other young people. So I think that's going to be kind of a gear like a gear shift for us that makes a difference in the games.
Okay.
So maybe not 20, but 15 to 20 a game. I think for sure Chris can find him for that.
And it's not a big deal, but Chris Paul had 1 point versus OKC. But
I don't want Chris. I don't want Chris to shoot. He doesn't have to shoot for me.
Yeah,
I want the 13 assists. If and the threes that he's shooting that we keep letting him shoot is about 12 points we give up trying to let Chris Paul figure out if he can shoot the 3 or not. Do that in practice for me. Do that in practice for me. Make 1,000 threes and then start shooting them in the game or something. I like the way he fits in with the assist. I think Chris. I seen him do some defensive stuff that we were missing on that second team, that second unit, just because Chris will run and just take the ball from me. Some of that crafty veteran gamesmanship that he brings to that second unit is helpful for us. So
I'll give you that.
We can build around those things. But Wiggins, he's averaging 10 points. And the crazy thing is that it's almost like his rhythm is off for me. So I've been watching him because he's up there. He's up there for the tip in, but he's like split second off. He's up there for the dunk, for the putback, but he's a split second off. So it's almost like I know he had a hard end to last season, but then I'm also wondering like how much ball did you play this summer? Are you still in your head? And then what is it like? I guess what is it? They call it the yips. Is that what they call it? The yips, like were you just in your own head or whatever? I don't know if you got the yips or mental. And listen, I'm not making a joke. Mental health as well.
No. I was going
and
there.
I don't know exactly everything that he went through,
right,
to be able to get back to play last season. But I would, if he needs some more time, I would rather him take it now than to find out that he needs to sit down 20 games in February.
Well said.
Because his mental health isn't there, and I think
your I
if
agree.
there's any organization that can allow, that and be supportive of that, it's the Warriors. So, if
No, I
that's what it
agree.
is, let's deal
Yeah.
with it.
We had that conversation kind of offline, and I don't want to talk about that until, like we talked about, until we do a little more research on some facts, exactly like what happened. It's been pretty
Yeah,
quiet.
I
Yeah,
heard a lot of
yeah,
rumors. I
right,
heard some terrible stuff that, if
right,
it is true, I
right.
can understand how you
Yeah,
not, all the way back. But also, and I'm listen, I'm not being funny. Some of the stuff that I judge players by and the stuff that drives my decisions about players is very simplistic sometimes, but important, right? And so I pay attention to uh, hairstyles, right, and grooming. And so I can always tell, like, when Steph is like in grind mode, because the beard is growing,
that's a
the hair
fact.
is
The
growing,
hair, that's right,
right?
that's
And
right.
then and he may do it like on a road trip, and then when he gets
Hmm.
home, he's clean cut and he's babyface assassin. You can expect him to try. You can
That's a
expect him
fact.
to
When
try
the
to shoot
face hair
12
go,
threes
I
or
get
so, right?
nervous. I'm like, oh no,
When he
not
when
when
he
he cut
cleans it
off
up.
face hair.
I also like it when he goes to his braids and stuff. Steph does a lot with his hair, but
Hmm.
Andrew Wiggins, his hair is, and my girl pointed it out. She was like, "Oh," and she don't watch a lot of basketball. She watches the Warriors,
Hmm.
and she was like, "Oh, he look a little rougher than he did last season." And I was like, "Nah, his hair, he always got the little nappy look." But she was like, "Nah, his beard and everything." And it was like, he almost had that, like, he worrying himself to death kind of look. I don't know. I don't know if he's in his head about his game, if he's still coming back from whatever he was dealing with last year. But
Well, what you're describing
I
is
just want
he
to,
looks stressed. He
yeah.
looks
But
stressed. Like that. That's how
yeah,
I would describe it. Like, and that does trickle down into grooming. Like you can tell, like there's a style that some choose to wear, as you know, with the sponge, where you would do the sponge, but you can tell when it's neatly kept. Um, I actually had the style, what, about maybe 6 something months ago, where you just do a little bit of the sponge, where it's kind of like a little afro. I might do it again, just to, I don't know. But the point I'm making is you can tell it has a little shine to it. It looks clean. It looks neat. Wiggins looks like he just lets it grow, and that's it. I mean, just kind of like he looks stressed, and
okay.
his
But
game is
the
showing.
other thing that I say is, let's not forget, and this is not in any way being, I don't know what people would call it, but don't be offended because I'm not trying to be offensive. But he's also a Canadian, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know uh, what the style is up there. I don't know that it's the same swag that we would see down here in the U.S. And so it's kind of like I give him that Joel Embiid, Giannis pass, like, not from here, but from here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's like, I don't know how much of that is just like his style.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely a little bit more worn and a little bit more rugged
Yeah.
when I went back and looked at last season. So,
And so, like we said, we talk facts here, and Seth hit the nail on the head. He's averaging, to be exact, 10.8 points.
and I
So
need to see that back at like between 17 and 21 a game.
at least. I mean,
And
I'm looking at the fluctuation. He's going from, so uh against OKC he hit 17, Cleveland he hit 8, and Detroit he hit 4, and then last night he had 11. Like
okay,
that's, you have to be. They described you initially as the third part of like a scoring trio. We're not going to count Draymond because Draymond does a little bit of everything. But they would say Steph, Clay, and Wiggins. And that's exactly what it was when they went on their when they're on their run as far as scoring. Wiggins was a problem. He was a problem. And I'm
he
looking at,
that Wiggins was dunking on folks. I mean, dunking on folks. Wiggs had some. I forgot, who did he get
it was a
on
couple
the way to
people.
that championship. He got, yeah, he had some nice highlights. I'm not thinking of it off the top of my head, but I'm not seeing, and that's what I'm saying. Like he's up there, he's above the rim. He's just a second off.
Well, here's something interesting though, and I just noticed this: his minutes. Last night, let me make sure this is right. Yeah, last night that was the most minutes he's played in the game, which is 29. Thoughts on that, please, Cess? Most minutes he's played, 29 minutes.
We're still figuring it out. We're still figuring out how to use everybody. I think that Wiggins. So I feel like Wiggins is a little bit more of himself with Draymond on the court. We've been trying out different starting lineups to start the season, especially with Draymond being hurt so early in the season. So we had like Chris Paul starting. And that may have an effect on Wiggins' activity, his usefulness. I guess with those players on the floor.
Now you said something. You said something in our first show. Or it may have been offline. We talk all the time, by the way, everybody, about different sports. Could he be the person that's no longer a Warrior at the end of the season? Because
I don't see it.
2 or 3 players. Hold on, you got Moody, you got Kuminga, who are, I would say, respectfully to those players, knockoffs of Andrew Wiggins. Could he be a piece?
Listen, now I think that Moses, and we call him Moses here in my house. We very rarely do we call him Moody. I like Moses, because we don't got a lot of Moses. Not a lot of Moses is in the league.
I'm still going with my boy Isaiah Joe, one of the coldest names
Joe,
in
he is. But Moses, I'm afraid that if Clay doesn't get his numbers up, from the 17 that he's averaging to closer to 21, 24, that Moses Moody could be the new Clay, that the Warriors could think that he could fill in for Clay. My thing about Andrew is, I don't know that Kuminga or Moody have the defense. When we go back and look at the run to the championship, Andrew Wiggins, outside of the offense that he bought, played some hella defense.
I was just about to say that
on the wing, man. Yep. Listen, and that's not to take anything away from Clay, because Clay, he's two-way. He's a two-way king for me. But Wiggins, that the length that he brings in the defense, and when Draymond, and like another thing, when Draymond's on the floor, the defense is different. It almost moves like an orchestra almost.
It's true.
It's just
he's
like
a quarterback.
Music,
yeah, he's right? A quarterback, and you see him shout
the defense
out.
Too.
Yeah,
and he and Wiggins, they can be a problem sometimes with a double team. Because they can get a little bit longer and a little more aggressive than Clay and Steph can, right? In a trap or something. So, no, I see Wiggins being a Warrior.
You know what I noticed though? It's funny you say that. You know what I noticed? Another number that stood out to me about Wiggins. He's only averaging close to 5 rebounds. He rebounded way more last year. He's not.
And I think he's figuring out spacing, still figuring out lineups.
I think it's because of what you said. I think Steve Kerr is a very good coach. Matter of fact, I take that back. He's an excellent coach. I think Steve Kerr is already planning, because he knows that the Moody's and the Kumingas and players like that, if this is the team he's with, they have to be able to give him some quality minutes. He's letting them play now, which I think is a good strategy. He's like, look, you have to be ready. That's been one of the staples of your beloved Golden State Warriors. They always have the Gary Payton Jr.'s and players like that come. Well, people say they come out of nowhere, but we watch basketball and we know that we see. I'll go on record to say I think that a lot of teams are trying to imitate what Golden State has done with their newer players. They're throwing them right into the fire and giving them an opportunity to get that experience. Steve Kerr has been doing that since he's been there.
Well, not only that, I mean, I think with the amount of money that you paying these players coming into the league, these young players coming into the league, you got to go to work right away. You got to come in and go to work right away.
That's
for the
true.
money that we giving. But I feel like, unlike other players on the league, other players on my squad, um, Wiggins and Clay are both very cerebral players,
Mm-hmm.
and they can get in their heads. And so I think it's rhythm with Wiggins and repetition. And with the way that the season went last year, I would just like to see him more in a rhythm, I think, than the in and out and figuring out the uh the lineups, giving him some consistent run and letting him, figuring out where that's going to be. Because I also think that Wiggins can start, but also do some damage with Chris with the second squad sometimes instead of bringing in Clay. Wiggins, when he's scoring, can be somebody you go to. People don't respect the fact that Wiggins was a number one pick,
Mm-hmm.
like not a team's first round pick. He
In
was
the league.
a
Right.
number one pick.
You're
So
right.
the game is there. Um, so I think it's just like getting him in a rhythm. But as Draymond gets healthy, and I don't know, he was out for personal reasons last night. Uh, you know, we'll see we'll see how that goes. But I gotta ask you a question because you are a Detroit native. You grew here. I flew here. Um, I heard him say on the cat on the game last night that Draymond hosted the team at um, an exclusive Detroit hotspot, and I was just wondering uh, what you thought that hotspot could be.
Mm.
Draymond hosted the team for dinner at an exclusive Detroit
Exclusive
hotspot, and I
hotspot
would
in
love to
Detroit.
know what is the what would you where you what do you think they were talking about?
They could have been talking about Highlands. That's at the top of the Rensen.
Is
Maybe
that what
that
they replaced at the what used to be up there
one that used
spinning
to move.
around?
Yeah, it
Yeah, I
doesn't
can't
move
think
anymore. Yep.
I can't think of what the name of it was before they closed it down.
Yeah,
The Rent Center was a nice building, man. They had the
it
movie
is.
theater in there. A lot of stuff you could do in there, man. They really
Yeah,
don't do enough with it. But yeah,
that Detroit hotspots. There's a few down by Campus Marshes. Man, what's the name of the place? It's more of a steak place.
Roof Chris.
Not Roof Chris. Town. Oh my goodness, I forgot the name of it.
Okay, I
It's
just
like
I
a
just want to
couple
throw that
four
out there.
stars right downtown that
Okay,
I'm thinking
okay.
would make sense. But
Hmm.
see, a lot of times that's deceptive because if they play Detroit, they'll say Detroit hotspot, but it could have very well been out in the burbs
In
because most
Macomb
of the
County
players,
somewhere.
yeah,
Hmm.
most of the players stay out in Birmingham. I think most of the players stay in Birmingham now when they come play the business.
Okay,
They don't stay in Detroit;
okay,
they stay in
okay.
Birmingham, which is
They,
about
I mean, they specifically said Detroit hotspot, so I was just wondering because I know Detroit downtown is is coming back. We got the comedy club that Mike Epps put down there um, that I want to check out. I heard it's like 30 and over only, right? Like
yeah.
a 30 and up
It better
comedy
be.
club. So that's interesting. But a lot of stuff going on in Detroit. So I was just wondering. I always love to see when they put the city on the map uh, on these national games. So
Yeah.
pretty cool. What did you think about no games on Tuesday for Election Tuesday? This is
You know
the
what?
this is the
I didn't know what was going on
the
because I
second
was
or third year that they've
yeah
done this. I
I
think
was
since the
setting yeah
pandemic.
I was setting up my itinerary. Say okay, which games I wanted to watch and look at.
Mhm.
And when I looked and saw, I'm like, wait a minute, why are there no games? And then I said, oh, I figured. I think that the league is moving in a political area. Before there was a little more, I would say, leniency, or it was more liberal, so to speak. It was interesting to me is that we're seeing sports become more political as opposed to society as a whole. If that makes sense. It's
I'm
almost like
calling.
it's
I'm
almost like
calling BS.
it's almost like we have to do this to show that we support voting. That's how I see it.
Okay, so let's back up. Here's the
Mhm.
thing, and this is why I'm calling bullshit on the league on this one. And y'all, Coach Ro doesn't cuss y'all, but I cuss like a sailor. And I really try to keep it under control when I'm talking to the coach, but sometimes it slips out. So forgive me. No harm intended, and I don't want to hear nothing about kids because I hear kids talk today. Um, but I'm calling BS on the league because when they said, "Hey, we're not going to have any games on election Tuesday so that people get out and rock the vote and people know what to do and all of that." There was all of these things that they were going to do around it to make sure, right? I didn't I didn't hear about the Pistons doing anything on election Tuesday to get out and rock the vote. They were supposed to be doing things locally to be able to make sure people were informed about. I remember the list when it came out. Like LeBron and them almost left the bubble around about what we were supposed to do, right?
Mhm.
Uh, they were going to get out and make sure that people knew who candidates were, what the issues were, what your options were. Had helped people to get to the polls. I didn't hear any of those things going on in Detroit. I don't know about other cities,
Well,
and for the viewers, if it was some great stuff going on in your city, chime in and let us know in the comments. But calling BS on that, it's just another night off.
mhm. Yeah.
Now,
Well,
if they were doing those things, then that's great. Um, I don't know that it would make me go vote or not. And most polls are closed at 8 o'clock anyway, so I don't understand why not an 8 o'clock game. But maybe they want you to watch the results come in. But yeah, I'm calling BS on that. A lot of the stuff that they um, a lot of the issues and a lot of the causes, that they were raising awareness around during the pandemic have gone to the wayside, including a lot of the HBCU stuff that the NBA was doing. So
well, I
uh,
mean, but remember, I prefaced my statement by saying it was a political move. I mean, to me, I see shades of remember the big scandal in the NFL where they would have the veterans come out and come to find out the teams were getting paid for that. Remember that?
no, I
Oh
don't
yeah,
remember that one.
yeah. It came out that when the teams were honoring and doing all of this stuff and the Make a Wish, they were being paid for that. So
Okay,
it's lipstick on a
pay
pig.
for appearance. Okay,
Yeah. Well, like
appearance fees.
well, no, like the team was getting paid for making that statement, so to
Oh,
speak. Yeah,
okay,
as far as
okay,
like, oh, we
okay.
have this veteran, and then it's like, oh, you were getting paid for that, like all of this time. I
Mhm.
think they may have rectified it since then, but I'm just saying that to say I think it's more of like this is the political aspect of sports that we're entering now. I mean,
I'm
I
not here
don't
for
know.
it.
I don't know if other cities um, follow through what they said or not, but we keep up with sports. I didn't hear anything about the Pistons doing anything. Not
And
at
I'm
all.
sorry. I just need to make this
Hopefully they were
public service
practicing. Maybe they were
announcement.
practicing.
Maybe,
Did they
but
have
I got to
practice?
make this public service announcement right here. This is get in my camera. ABC, ESPN. You guys have got to give us a better halftime show, and you've got to give us a better crew covering the game. You're not rivaling anything that TNT is doing. Okay, not
No.
on Tuesday night, not on Thursday night. They are killing y'all. It is too much talent out here for y'all to keep putting this stuff on. Listen, I stay up late to watch TNT. Uh,
Yep.
I turn it on early to see what they talking about on the pregame, and I stay up late for the postgame. Ernie, Shaq, Charles, Kenny, they are a TV show. I tune into that. ABC, ESPN. Y'all got to do better. I can't at halftime. I can't wait to turn the channel, and I don't tune in till the ball is in the air. Come on, please help us. Just I'm
Right.
sorry, I had to get that out. Let's go.
Well,
Boom.
um,
It's been too many seasons now. Let's quit playing.
well, I wanted to bring up the. I hope I pronounced the young player's name right. You brought to my attention Miss MiLaysia Fulwiley.
Oh, Talk about it.
For those that did not see the footage, this young player executed one of the most exciting moves that I've seen live action in a basketball game since the likes of a Magic Johnson or a Jordan, who the Magic Johnson actually spoke out and said, "Wow, did you see that?" And just to kind of level set this, the move that this young lady did is difficult to do in slow motion. Even if you practiced it to say, okay, we're going to learn this move behind the back, switch hands, switch sides, lay the ball up. Even if you did that slow, trying to practice what that move is, it would be very difficult. So for this young player to run full speed and execute this move was quite impressive. So you all may wonder, well, who is this young player? MiLaysia Fulwiley. She attended Keenan High School in Columbia, South Carolina. She's 5'7". She had a very, very, very impressive showing, obviously, in high school. Her highest average of points per game was somewhere around 30 points. But what's interesting is that the young player averaged a total average now over 10 rebounds a game. Here we go. Yeah. 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 And look at the ease at which the move was done. We have to see it again. It was easy.
I mean, this is just spectacular.
Oh my.
The quickness, the shift side to side, behind the back, finish. Oh my.
Wow, we will be back in 30 seconds.
Thank you so much, Cess, because me describing it does it no justice. Look at it again, real time.
15 for a double. Wow, Fulwiley! My goodness! A show-stopping highlight.
As I stated, doing that move in slow motion is quite difficult. Doing that move
on NBA 2K is quite difficult.
And see,
what you talking about? Doing that move on a video game.
And here's the thing. And on the Cess and Coach Ro show, we want to let you all know something. We look at the small details. Like one of the details we both noticed is, did you see the score? It wasn't like 60-15. It was 40-31. So this was in the heat of the game. This was not like, oh, okay, let's go out here and show out and do something to get a highlight. This was like, you could tell that this player, this was like a regular move, clearly.
Coach, she said, this is something I do all the time. This is a move I do all the time. That was her response.
And it showed.
About the move. That was her response about the move.
And it showed.
I mean, just walked into it. Just walked right into it. Like, and made up in her mind, hey, this is what it is coming down the court.
Yeah.
So, I know Coach Ro is going to have to get out of here. It's never enough time with this guy. We couldn't even get to what we had planned to talk about this today because it just kept going.
Everybody. Be kind.
Be kind.
We have more content coming your way. We're working.
We're going to be figuring out how to get more content out on a regular basis. But I wanted to really just lay the foundation for the WNBA coverage that we're going to be doing. Coach Ro's been watching a lot more WNBA than I have. I fell out with the league for a long time because I just didn't feel like they were doing enough to have the living legends that are around still are involved in the league. And I see them really doing a lot better job of that. And I'm really proud of where the WNBA has grown up to be, to say that I remember when it was a WNBA and an ABL, right? So we'll be doing a lot of coverage with that, and we're gonna be starting with an in-depth look at Dawn Staley and just the stranglehold that her fingerprints have on where women's basketball, not even just college ball, just where women's basketball is at
That's
right
right.
now, and her contribution to the WNBA and the players that have come out of her program, and the way that she continues to support her players even after they leave her program. Like, I love seeing her sideline in the WNBA finals, heckling the refs about missing calls on Asia, right? So, gonna be a fun time. Gonna definitely talk some football. Sorry, guys, it's another trash game uh, tonight. Um,
Bears versus
so,
Panthers.
and I want to say this too. I know people are like, "Oh, Amazon, terrible Thursday night game." It's not Amazon. The Amazon platform, the interaction, the things that they can do, bringing in Marshawn Lynch, um, all of that stuff is so cool. Um, but they're getting trash games, and so we're gonna have to figure out how to flex better. NFL gonna have to figure out how to flex better.
Yeah. And we will have some more Midwest influenced music
Yeah,
next week.
I'm waiting on Coach Ro. I'm waiting on Coach Ro to drop a beat. We'll give him his own theme music when he's coming in. Drop a beat.
I am. I'm gonna drop you one. It has to be something
Um,
appropriate that fits my, you know.
I'm making this announcement now, without discussing with Coach Ro. So,
Uh-oh.
and understand, y'all, that I live by a code of I ask forgiveness, not permission. I much rather say my bad than can I. So, um, I want you guys to follow us on the S Sessions official for right now, but we will be just branding our own, now joining the conversation Instagram page and social media. That'll be just true to just our content as I build out my Sessions official. No, now joining the conversation will be a its own entity. So
That's right.
look for that coming. And until then, stay tuned. Talk soon. We're out.
Tell everybody.